This weekend of AFL action sees a lot of star players missing and a few games that could determine a club's season. All this and more discussed in the upcoming installment of AFL 2018 Predictions Round 6 Teams and Tips.
His name is Godzilla.
What's going on, Godzilla Nation? This is Godzilla back again with another episode of Round Teams and Tips. Thank you for joining me as always. This weekend we are looking toward Round 6, but before we start, thank you guys so much for all the support that you've been throwing behind the Teams and Tips series, as well as the Good, the Bad and the Ugly podcast. I cannot thank you guys enough for all that love and support. You guys mean the world to me. You all know that. But moving forward, we are going to look at the first game of the weekend, Etihad Stadium, Western Bulldogs against Carlton. It's pretty much a battle for bottom of the ladder at the moment between these two. Carlton looking for their first win of the season. Bulldogs looking to bounce back after another terrible week of football. In for the Bulldogs, we have Hayden Crozier, Bailey Williams, and Lockie Hunter. They've missed Lockie Hunter in the midfield drastically. Out for the Bulldogs, Lucas Webb and Mitch Honeychurch have both been omitted. I don't know why Honeychurch was omitted. He actually played a really good game against Fremantle on the weekend. Tory Dixon with a hamstring injury out of the lineup as well. For Carlton Blues, Caleb Marchbank comes back in. I'm actually happy he only missed 1 week and came back sooner than expected. Matthew Kennedy also back in. Jared Garlett and Jed Lamb, both omitted from the side. However, it also says here new, and I don't know where they've been put. They've been named as emergencies. Okay, so we've got 2 emergencies named. Matt Shaw, obviously from the Gold Coast, coming over to Carlton, and Kim LeBoys, both named as emergencies for the Carlton Blues as well, both of which will debut for the Carlton Blues if they play. Levi Casbolt plays game 100. And if I've got to be honest with you, I'm going left field straight away. Carlton Blues to beat Western Bulldogs this Friday night. You're probably thinking, oh God, I'm not going to watch the rest of these. Godzira's gone crazy. He's on the sniff again. However, I watched Carlton play against West Coast last weekend at the MCG, and even though West Coast's inaccuracy kept Carlton in check, the work rate of some of those Blues boys behind the ball is absolutely incredible. I think Cade Simpson out of defence is going to be a shining light for Carlton this weekend. Caleb Marchbank comes back in. That's a big bolster to their backline. Kennedy comes back in, adds a little bit of run. The Bulldogs could get it done. I'm tipping an upset early. I'm going with Carlton, and I know a lot of you will probably go opposite, so I'm hoping Carlton does get up. Heading over to the GMHBA, whatever bloody stadium it's called, Saturday afternoon, Geelong Cats hosting the Sydney Swans. In for the Cats, we've got Tom Hawkins and Corey Gregson. Out of the lineup is Daniel Menzel with an injury. Didn't know about that. And Jackson Thurlow has been omitted. Stuart Cramery, Charlie Constable, both named as emergencies. If Stuart Cramery plays, it'll be game 100 for him. In for Sydney Swans is Robbie Fox, Daniel Robinson and Ben Ronk, with Dan Hanbury out injured, Lance Franklin out injured, and Dean Towers out injured. Ben Ronk named to play on debut, with Tom McCartan and Colin O'Riordan both named on the emergency list for debut as well. I just feel, without Hanbury, without Lance Franklin, Sydney's going to struggle a little bit, and I'm backing the Cats to beat the Swans. The Swans could do it without Franklin, and if they can do it without Franklin up forward, and without the likes of Reid and Hanbury in the team as well, I think that's going to go a long way to help securing the fact that they're still second favourite for the premiership this year. But I am still going with the Geelong Cats to get the job done. Later on Saturday afternoon, heading to Etihad Stadium, we have North Melbourne hosting Port Adelaide. Luke Davies-Uniacke in for North Melbourne. Sean Higgins out, obviously, with that massive concussion he copped last week. Good to see him up and about, though. In for Port Power is Dom Barry and Aidan Johnson. Hamish Hartlett out injured. And I did say it earlier today in my Good, the Bad, and the Ugly podcast. He shouldn't have played on that game. He just should have sat the rest of the game off and made sure he was 100% fit. Lindsay Thomas, the dirty grub, obviously out for 4 weeks with suspension, so he's been dropped as well. I'm backing North Melbourne. And it goes against everything I tipped at the start of the year. I tipped North Melbourne to win the wooden spoon, and 2 weeks in a row I'm backing North Melbourne to get up. I just can't see Port Adelaide travelling and playing the brand of football they have been and knocking off North Melbourne over here. They could quite possibly do it, but North Melbourne shocked me last week against Hawthorn, and if they can play that brand of football again, they will beat the Port Power with ease this weekend at Etihad Stadium. Later on at Spotless, we have GWS Giants hosting the Brisbane Lions. For the Giants, we have Nick Shipley and Zach Giles-Landon both coming in. Dawson Simpson has been omitted, and Toby Green has been dropped due to injury. Nick Shipley named to debut, with Aidan Bonner, Isaac Cumming, Lachlan Keefe, and Dylan Buckley all named as emergencies, all of which will debut for the club if they get selected. Looking at the Brisbane lineup, Daniel Rich and Oscar McKinney comes in. I'm pretty sure Oscar McKinney is a ruckman, so they're bringing him in to support Steph Martin this week. Out is Luke Hodge being rested. Ryan Bastanak has been omitted. Obviously, Oscar McKinney debuting, and Sam Mays plays game 100. GWS get the job done here. I just feel they're too strong a side. They're going to bounce back from their poor effort in front of goal last week against St Kilda with that draw. That's the fire that fuels them. However, there was another fire that's going to be fueled as well, and Brisbane just losing to the Gold Coast. I think Brisbane are going to put up a bit of a fight, but I'm still backing the Giants to get the job done. Heading over to Adelaide Stadium Saturday night, Adelaide Crows hosting the Gold Coast Suns. Matt Crouch and David Mackay both in for Adelaide. Jake Kelly and Kyle Hartigan dropped due to injury. Patrick Wilson named as an emergency for debut. Andy Otten plays game 100 for the Crows. In for the Suns is Michael Barlow in for his first game of the season, and Max Spencer. Michael Rishkatelli has been dropped, and Darcy McPherson is out injured. Braden Crossley has been named as an emergency, and if he gets selected, will debut. The same with Patrick Wilson for Adelaide. I'm backing Adelaide here. Adelaide, with Matt Crouch and David Mackay coming back into the team, they're going to be way too strong. Matt Crouch has a very easy game to slide back into the system here. Gold Coast, the only thing they can do here is put up a fight and clinch those little short bursts that they did against Brisbane last week. And if they can shut some certain players down, they could actually make this a hell of a lot more competitive than people realise. But I'm backing Adelaide, get the job done Saturday night in Adelaide. Final game for Saturday night, heading over to Tasmania. Hawthorn hosting St Kilda. In for the Hawks, we have James Warple on debut, Sean Burgoyne and Will Langford. Out is Connor Glass, omitted. Liam Shields out with an injury, and Sicily serving on 1 week suspension. In for St Kilda is Jimmy Webster. Hunter Clark has been omitted. Logan Austin has been named as an emergency and might debut if chosen. The milestones here. We've got Sam Gilbert playing game 200 purely for St Kilda. Jack Sinclair playing his 50th, and Blake Acres playing his 50th as well. This game could go either way. I feel this is actually closer put together than what people realise. Sean Burgoyne coming back in is a big help for the Hawks. But losing Sicily and Shields, that takes a lot of firepower out of that lineup. I'm going completely crazy right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm backing St Kilda. I'm backing the Saints to bounce back and get the job done. I think them being so competitive with GWS, same as Carlton, however, GWS left the door open for St Kilda by being extremely inaccurate, but I think St Kilda showed enough to bounce back this week. I think they're going to do the Hawks. James Sicily out of the side, Liam Shields out of the side. It was proven a couple of weeks ago when I turned around and I said a player like Sicily is hard to replace. Even though Sean Burgoyne comes back in, he'll primarily play up forward. I think the Saints are going to get it done. I hope they get it done. It'd be good to see the Saints bounce back. I've gone a little bit crazy with my tips this week. Hopefully they can get up because there'll be some nice little surprises for the supporters if they do. First game on Sunday, Etihad Stadium. Essendon Bombers hosting Melbourne Demons, and there are some big changes on both teams here. And this is an extended bench, mind you, so there's only going to be a couple coming in. Jaden Laverde, Matthew Leuenberger, Patrick Ambrose, Kyle Langford, Kobe Much, Jordan Ridley, Ben McNeese, Dylan Clark, and Sean McKernan, all named as ins. Out for Essendon is Tom Bellchambers, rested. Michael Hartley has been omitted. Josh Green out with an injury. Josh Begley out with an injury. And David Myers rested. Kobe Much, Jordan Ridley, Dylan Clark, all named and will debut if selected. Anthony McDonald, Tipping Woody plays game 50. Now, as you can see there, that's 5 omissions with 9 players to come in. I'm backing Sean McKernan to come in for Bellchambers. Matthew Leuenberger is going to come in as well. I think Ambrose will come in, Laverde will come in, and I think we might see Jordan Ridley debut. Those are just my selections. I could be completely wrong. Just opinion-based. Looking at the Melbourne lineup, ins, Jordan Lewis, Charlie Spargo, Bailey Frisch, Mitch Hannon, Tom McDonald, Timothy Smith, Joel Smith. Dean Kent out injured, Petrarca out injured, and Billy Stretch has been omitted. Charlie Spargo, if selected, will debut for the club, and James Harms plays game 50. I feel Jordan Lewis automatically comes in. I think Bailey Frisch comes in for Petrarca, and I'm backing Tom McDonald to come in as well. And with that being said, with all the changes made, Melbourne Demons are going to win this game. I feel dropping Bellchambers, their number 1 ruckman. Leuenberger will do an okay job. Max Gawn is going to go absolutely bananas in the ruck this week. Petrarca might be the biggest loss for Melbourne, but with Jordan Lewis, Frisch, and McDonald being the 3 that I'm going to pick to come in, I think they're going to get the job done here, Melbourne. They're going to bounce back. They've disappointed their fans the last couple of weeks, and they're very frustrated and want to see their team bounce back. This is the week I think they do it. Melbourne get the chocolates over Essendon on Sunday. Heading over to Optus Stadium, the first derby hosted at Optus Stadium. Fremantle Dockers hosting the West Coast Eagles. In for the Dockers, Michael Johnson, Shane Kirsten, Ethan Hughes, Scott Jones, Tommy Sheridan. Matt Taberner out injured. Scott Jones named for debut if selected. Joel Hamling plays game number 50. I think Matt Taberner dropping out sees Shane Kirsten come into the team and takes his spot. I think that's the only that's the only legitimate decision there. Shane Kirsten's a forward, Matt Taberner's a forward. Easy, easy. In for the Eagles, Lewis Jetta, Jack Petrusel, I'm going to say Petrusel, Will Schofield, and Fraser McInnes. Jack on debut as well. I am backing West Coast Eagles to get the job done here. They have been the powerhouse out of the West this year, and they've just been so dominant around the ball. Seeing them play last week against Carlton live, the work rate behind the ball and resetting everything up and just working their opponents before the ball gets there, they're actually doing a hell of a lot better than a lot of people gave them credit for, and I'm backing them to win Optus Stadium's first ever derby. And to round out the weekend of football, a big rivalry going down at the MCG. Collingwood Magpies playing Richmond Tigers. In for the Collingwood Magpies, we've got Jared Blair, Josh Smith, Finn Appleby, Chris Main, and Braden Sear. Travis Varco is being rested. with Flynn Appleby and Braden Sear both named to debut if selected. In for the Tigers, we got Nick Vlaston, Josh Caddy, Jack Graham, and Ivan Soldo named to help give Nankervis a bit of a chop out in the ruck. Nick Vlaston, future captain of Richmond in my opinion, playing game 100. I'm backing the Tigers to get it done, and you're probably sitting there thinking at home, Godzilla, you're way too biased, you always pick your team to get up and win every week. And yes, okay, that might be the case. However, when Richmond is sitting on top of the ladder, having lost one game, they're playing the best brand of football in the AFL at the moment. How could you not pick Richmond to get up? This weekend is going to be a test. A lot of people are saying Richmond haven't beat anybody of substance in the first 5 rounds. Hawthorn, I believe, was a decent test considering how they've ran so far. Collingwood this weekend is another one of those tests that Richmond have to overcome just to prove to the AFL world just how good they are. And when we get the job done, because I'm confident we will, we can hang our heads up high, still atop the ladder, and continue on with our quest to hopefully go back-to-back and win this year's premiership as well. But that is it for my tips this week. If you want a little recap on what's going down, these are the teams I chose. Lock them in, because some of them are a bit left field. We're going Carlton, Geelong, North Melbourne, GWS, Adelaide, St Kilda, Melbourne, Western Eagles then. It's the West Coast Eagles and Richmond Tigers to all get up. Now, also, every week, I get you guys to put your tips in the comment section down below. And in order to be in the running for a bit of a prize at the end of the year, you got to make sure you keep doing it, because the winner at the end of the 2018 season will get a gift card for the console of their choice. It'll be either a PlayStation card or an Xbox Live card or a Nintendo eShop card or a Steam card. Something just to reward you guys. Something just for having a little bit of fun with myself along the way as well. We're all in it for a bit of fun. It's always good to, throw a little reward out there for your time and effort as well. It's just a way for myself to communicate with you guys and show a little bit of love back to all of you guys who support me. So I have an updated ladder, and you got to keep your eye out for it, because I will be dropping it on my social medias to keep you guys up to date each week. I'm not going to drop it in this video. I keep teasing you with it. At the start of the next video that gets uploaded for the teams and tips, the updated list will be put up there. And I can tell you now, at the moment, there's 3 teams up the top of the ladder that are challenging for top spot. And one of them might be in a wheelchair. That's all I'm saying. So thank you for joining me as always, guys. If you have enjoyed this installment of Teams and Tips, be sure to smash that thumbs up button to show your support. Get on board the Godzilla Nation if you haven't already by hitting subscribe. Social media links down below. Be sure to go check those out. As I said, I'm going to be updating the tipping list and everything on my social medias from now on, so you can stay tuned with that. I'm officially now on Instagram, so the link will be down in the description for that as well. Take a nice little snap and send it to your boy, and let's have a chat. Hit that notification bell before you leave, so every time a new video comes to the channel, you get notified straight away. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here, and as always, I will catch you guys next time.